New documentary tracing Princess Diana's last 100 days. As the 20th anniversary of her death approaches, ABC is airing a 2-hour special on Sunday. It's going to focus on the last few months of her life and what she hoped would be a summer of love. And I know, Amy, you have more details.
That's right, Robin. It is a remarkable new documentary that takes us into Princess Diana's last days, counting them down, retracing her steps, and revealing a secret love affair.
It's the fairy tale story we thought we knew. A young girl who dreamed of marrying a prince.
I'm amazed that she's been brave enough to take me on.
And I suppose in love.
Of course. Whatever in love means.
And did.
They couldn't keep their hands off each other initially. He would sort of squeeze her bottom in public, which is very unregal. But he did.
But then the betrayal with Camilla Parker Bowles beginning, it seemed, even as Diana and Charles took their wedding vows. Camilla present against Diana's express wishes.
Did you try to be faithful and honourable to your wife when you took on the vow of marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
Trapped in an unhappy situation, here's how the princess described it in a bombshell interview with journalist Martin Bashir, the only time she ever talked about it on the record.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
The princess struggled to cope, seeking love in all the wrong places, finding the one man she could not have.
Diana fell in love with Hasnat Khan when she went to visit a friend in hospital, and there he was, the doctor.
Hasnat Khan, a Pakistani-born heart surgeon, shy of the spotlight. Diana, smitten.
Hasnat virtually moved in to Kensington Palace.
She was truly taken with somebody who was so pure of purpose. He was healing people. He wasn't remotely interested in her fame.
Does the world realize that her romance with Dodi Al-Fayed was only 30 days, from beginning to end? Not 2 years, as was the one with Hasnat. Hasnat Khan was the love of her life.
But in those last 100 days, their passionate romance coming apart.
Hasnat said to me, I don't want to be known as just Mr. Diana. I want my world. I want to be a surgeon.
The princess heartbroken, eventually moving on with the playboy son of millionaire Egyptian businessman Dodi Al-Fayed. But on the night she died, a phone call.
Well, it's tragic to think that on that last night, that Hasnat Khan was trying to reach her on the phone.
He said to me, maybe later in the summer, we'd have got back together again.
Now, of course, we know Diana never did get that fairy tale ending, her life ending instead with that car crash in a Paris tunnel, being chased by the paparazzi. Robin?
All right, Amy, now the man behind that documentary, Martin Bashir, is here. It's always good to see you,
It's
Martin.
lovely to see you, Robin.
So it's focusing on the last 100 days and the man that she called Mr. Wonderful. What was so significant about that man in this time in her life?
Well, there's been so much speculation, conjecture, conspiracy theories about what happened. And so what we've done is we've almost put together a forensic account, a distinctive and definitive account of those last 100 days. We've spoken to people who worked for her, friends. Some appear on camera, others don't. But we've constructed the timeline in the most detailed fashion. And beneath that narrative is this emotional tension that she's feeling between these 2 men. She's pursuing one man that won't commit to her, and she's being pursued by another about whom she's conflicted. And the tension of that relationship spreads right the way through those last 100 days.
We're coming up on 20 years since her death. And Martin, you know, there's still such fascination with Diana.
It's incredible. When she was married in 1981, something like 200 million people watched the wedding ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral. Fast forward to her death, the funeral service was estimated to have been seen by 2 billion people. She'd risen stratospherically, not just as an icon, but also as someone who combined 2 contradictory elements. On the one hand, she was this incredible insider. She was at the centre of the royal family. She was married to the heir to the throne, and she gave birth to the next in line. And yet, she was also an outsider, in the sense that you'll never forget her holding a baby with leprosy in India, or embracing someone who was HIV positive. And that connection with the public meant that all of us felt, as Prime Minister Tony Blair said, that she was the people's princess.
And we'll also never forget the interview that you did with her. What do you remember best about that?
I think what I remember best is that here was an individual who seemed to combine everything about humanity, capable of the greatest acts of kindness and also capable of the greatest mistakes imaginable. And she combined that humanity in a way that was remarkable, given the fact that she was a royal princess. She wasn't like you and I. She was an aristocrat. She was born into that family, and yet she was accessible to so many people. And I think that would be the thought. Also, I think when you think about her boys, last month, they have committed to a charity serving people with mental health.
Right.
They have become almost the incarnation of their mother. And the saddest thing of all, I think, is that she isn't here, because I imagine she would be so proud of them.
Oh, I know that she would be, and I've spent time especially with
You have.
Harry
You've
last
met
year.
both of them, I
yes,
know.
and you're right. They're such a reflection of their mother, and to see how they have grown into such strong young men living as they are in her. All right, Martin, thanks so much.
Thank you. And I also wanted to say how glad I am that you're so well. My family and I have been rooting for you, and you've been in our prayers, so we're so glad.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have felt the love from across the pond. Thank you. And you can see the last 100 days of Diana Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC. Thank you again, Martin.
Thank you.